As per the standing instructions of customs released in the month of February 2023, all the importers who import either plastic packaging or any product wrapped in plastic packaging are required to obtain EPR registration. Let's understand EPR registration from a point of view of an importer. My name is Akash and I represent my company AV International, India's leading export and import consulting firm. This video will cover the following points. Firstly, what is EPR registration for importers? How does it work? How are EPR targets given and how can we help? So let's get started and understand what exactly is EPR registration. EPR stands for Extended Producer Responsibility. The entities who introduce plastic waste in India, specifically plastic packaging, have to apply for EPR registration. These entities include producers, importers of plastic packaging, and also brand owners who deal in plastic packaging. These entities have to register themselves with Central Pollution Control Board, that is CPCB, and provide accurate information about their generation and consumption of plastic packaging. Additionally, the registered entities will be given targets for recycling of plastic packaging introduced and also ensuring its safe disposal. To know more about EPR in detail, please watch our previous video that explains everything about EPR in general terms. In this video, we are only going to talk about EPR registration from an importer's perspective. Now, how does EPR registration work for importers? Before moving ahead, just note that the CPCB has introduced EPR mainly for waste generated due to plastic packaging and its disposal. So in case of importers who are importing it, CPCB is only concerned about what the importers do with the plastic packaging waste that is collected in their factory, warehouses, offices, etc. Whether they dispose it or whether it is passed on to another entity. Let's dig deeper into this and understand EPR policy from an importer's perspective. Considering two cases here, one for an importer who is a manufacturer and another for an importer who is a merchant trader. Let's take the first case of an importer who is a manufacturer and understand it in detail. In a normal routine, a manufacturer importer will import raw materials wrapped in plastic packaging. This plastic packaging will be unwrapped and the raw materials will be used for manufacturing of finished products. The unwrapped plastic will then be disposed. However, under EPR regime, a manufacturer importer will import raw materials wrapped in plastic packaging. This plastic packaging will be unwrapped and the raw materials will be used for manufacturing of finished products. However, the unwrapped plastic here will be called pre-consumer plastic waste. And instead of disposing it straight away, importers will be given an annual EPR target to recycle that plastic. And how will it be recycled? As per the annual target given, an importer has to pass on the plastic waste to an EPR registered recycler, also known as plastic waste processor, that is PWP, and get it recycled to meet the target. Once the target is met, then the EPR registration can be renewed for the next year. Now you must be having a question about how will the CPCB track whether an importer meets the target. This is how. The importer will sell the plastic waste to an EPR registered PWP who will readily buy it, since the PWPs also have a target to recycle an X amount of plastic waste. The corresponding sales details has to be updated on the EPR portal, and that's how the CPCB will know whether an importer met his target or not. Once the recycler collects the plastic from importer's premises, he will recycle it and the importer will receive his EPR certificate. Once the EPR certificate is received by an importer, he can renew it for the next year. Now, what if an importer exceeds his target and recycles more than the target given? In this case, the importer will get a surplus EPR certificate, which he can transfer or sell it to another entity who has not met his target at the end of financial year and monetize on it. Are there any other ways to meet the target? Another way to meet the target is buying EPR certificates of the value equivalent to the target from any other entity who has it in surplus. And finally, yes, what if an importer does not meet his target? An environmental compensation, that is EC, will be levied on the importer in case he does not meet his target. And it doesn't end here. Once the importer pays the EC, the unfulfilled target for that year will be carried forward to the next year for a period of 3 years. A certain amount of EC levied shall be returned or refunded depending on how early the pending target is met. That is, if the pending target is met within 1 year of levying of EC, then 75% will be returned. If it is met within 2 years, then 60% of EC will be returned. If it is met within 3 years, then 40% of EC will be returned. So this is a brief idea of how EPR works for a manufacturer importer. Now Let's understand EPR registration from the point of view of an importer who is a merchant trader. In a normal routine, an importer who is a merchant trader will import plastic packaging or products wrapped in plastic packaging and sell it either locally or export it with the same plastic packaging. If the importer is selling locally, then in EPR regime, the sales detail of the products has to be updated in the EPR portal. If the products are sold to an EPR registered entity, then the responsibility of recycling, that is the target, will also be passed on from the importer to the EPR registered entity. In this case, the importer will be free of any responsibility of recycling the plastic packaging as he sold it to the EPR registered entity only in the course of his merchant trade. In case if any plastic waste is left with him, that is again the pre-consumer plastic waste, then he has to declare it, meet the target given, and follow the same process as discussed in the previous section of our video. If the importer is exporting, then he has to update the sales detail of the same product on the EPR portal. There will be no targets here as the products are exported with the plastic packaging outside India and outside the purview of EPR. Now, what is the target and how is it calculated? Under the EPR regime, every importer has to comply with 4 targets. Target number 1 is EPR target. For importers, the EPR target will be equal to the average weight of all plastic packaging material or plastic packaging for imported products category wise imported and sold in the last 2 financial years, plus average quantity of free consumer plastic packaging in the last 2 financial years minus the annual quantity supplied to EPR registered entities, that is brand owners, in the previous financial year. Second target is end of life disposal. The plastic that cannot be recycled should be sent for end of life disposal. Currently, the end of life disposal of plastics can happen in the following ways. First is usage in road construction, waste to energy, and finally waste to oil as per relevant guidelines issued by CPCB from time to time. Third target is minimum level of recycling target. This target will be applicable to importers from financial year 2024 and 25. The importer shall ensure minimum level of recycling excluding end of life disposal of plastic packaging waste collected under EPR target. The table on the screen displays the exact level of recycling to be maintained as a percentage of EPR target. So in the first year, that is financial year 2024-25, an importer will ensure a minimum level of recycling of 50%. That is 50% of his EPR target will only be recycled. In financial year 25-26, an importer will ensure a minimum level of recycling of 60%, so on and so forth as per the table displayed for each financial year specific to category of plastic packaging. Target number 4 is obligation for use of recycled content. This target will be applicable to importers from financial year 2025-26. The importer shall ensure use of recycled plastic in the imported plastic packaging category wise as shown in the table displayed. So in financial year 2025-26, an importer will ensure that he used 30% recycled content in the imported plastic packaging material for category 1. In financial year 2026-27, minimum recycled content should be maintained at 40% of the imported plastic packaging material, again for category 1. So on and so forth as per the table displayed for each financial year specific to each category of plastic packaging. The process of application and documentation for EPR registration will be discussed in our next video. So please stay tuned and subscribe to our channel for latest updates. How can we help you? We, AV International, are India's leading export and import consultants. We can not only help you obtain EPR registration but also in its compliance. We are already serving more than 350 clients in obtaining their EPR registration. To know more about our company, please visit our website www.avigroup.in. If you find our content useful, then do like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you and happy exporting.